Hey everybody, Lisa Vino here, and I wanted to talk about co-writing because I'm getting more questions about it, especially after I published the numbers from last year. I made over 300,000, actually a lot closer to 350, and only 88,000 of that was my Berserker series. The rest was co-writing, co-written series. And there were three of them. They were very successful. And I am not going to share exact details of those numbers because I did not ask my co-writers if I could, and I don't really think they want that info outed. I'm more okay with it because I like talking about you know stuff that would have helped me when I was a beginning writer, I guess. So allow me to go over some tips and tricks to co-writing. I've done this video before. I'm redoing it because obviously I had a really great year, and a lot of that was due to my co-writing success. I had a baby in April and in the beginning of April. So most of the year, I leaned very heavily on my co-writers. And I've just been thinking and thinking and thinking about how those relationships work. And I added a little bit to this presentation. I'm going to go over a little bit on how you could possibly get started in a co-writing relationship, because when I think back on it, I did something that was very small and painless. Like it was all reward, no risk. And that was my first co-writing experience. And it was with someone I trusted, it was with someone I respected as an author, and I'll just go into more detail in a few slides. But let's jump right in. Co-writing to me is two authors collaborating, and I mean, for exponential growth in my case, but 1 plus 1 equals 10 when it's a good fit. So let's talk about how to find someone who is a good fit. There's me and my buddy Renee in one of our series together. Our only series currently is the Alpha series, and she's already told me that there's going to be like 30 books in this series, and I'm all for it because it is such a fun relationship and it's a fun world to work in. And anyway, it's been amazing. So, why co-write briefly? You can publish more frequently, and rapid release is my tried and true method for success. I'm in KU, and that is kind of the best way to get success. I also lean on my co-writer's strengths. I leaned on them really hard when I didn't have enough, writing time with the baby and everything. Marketing wise, like for example, Renee has a really powerful platform. Like her readers are voracious. She has 40,000 people or something on her mailing list. Like she has a strong platform, and it's just allowed us to blast those books up. We've hit top 100 a couple times, and we bonused this year, got the All-Star bonuses in KU. And anyway, we're just trying to emulate some of James Patterson's success, right? I don't know if he's co-written 50 books, but I'm sure he's co-written a bunch, like 15 a year. So I'm sure it's gonna approach 100 in another 5 years, right? So personal example, this was one of my first co-written series, and I have 3 series, and we split the cost 50-50. I'll go into more of those details later. But this series would never have come about if I hadn't partnered with Lily Sander. And she has all these great ideas, and I was like, let's do it. I kind of had a paranormal platform, and she was gonna put more work into the Lily Sander pen name, and magic happened. So, all right, let's go over some ideas on getting started, and then I'll go over more details that I did in the other video, but I'm going to re-go over them. But I think that it's important to first lay the groundwork. You're going to network with other authors, join Facebook groups, join a forum like Dirty Discourse. There are tons of author groups. But you want to find people in your genre and subgenre, and you're going to be nice, helpful, drama-free. You're going to read their books, because I have only co-written with people who I respect their writing. I respect them as an author and a writer. I really respect how they market books. In most cases, they have a really strong platform, and I'm bringing mine to the table, and together we're gonna just knock these books into the stratosphere. But I've I've always, worked on just playing nice in the sandbox, and it totally pays because now I have these three co-written series, and it's with authors who are willing to work as hard on their careers as I'm willing to work on mine. And to get started, I really advise starting with a marketing relationship. Now, I have always taken this kind of business-like career approach to my writing since I started self-publishing, and that's served me well with increasing income. I think I doubled. I think last year I made like 150,000, so I've more than doubled. And believe me, the year like 2016 and 2015, I made way less than six figures. So yeah, I've had really nice growth, and I've always had this marketing mindset. And I've partnered with people with marketing mindsets, and I've collaborated on marketing stuff with Renee, with all sorts of authors. So I really think that you should start with collaborations or marketing. So box sets, um, group newsletter builder things you can do, giveaways. It could be something as simple as you all do holiday books and you all promote them together, like something where you're just working together. You're talking with one another. You're seeing how people respond. Do they drop off the face of the map? Do they try to like get as much out of it as they can and kind of skimp on the work? Excuse me. You need to know this, and you need to, shake out who's a good person to work with, right? I've always hypothesized that, Renee and I have been in a bunch of box sets that have hit the USA Today, and inevitably, out of 20 authors, there are some who don't do as much. Maybe they don't know how, but let's just say they're busy and they don't do as much towards the box set, and Renee works her butt off, right? So I watch her work hard, and I do my bit, and I ask her, okay, how can I do more? But the reality is she gets the most out of it because she works the hardest. And whoever else is working as hard as she is getting the most out of those box sets. And that's why I want to work hard, is because I want to get the most out of the project too, because then I transfer it to my own career and I see the benefits because I make more money. So anyway, start with a marketing relationship and see who's a good worker, and then collaborate on a tiny project. Do a scene together. Do a novella where you write the hero and someone else writes the heroine, or world build together. Just start brainstorming and playing with all of this. Um, I've heard a podcast where people wrote a book on a train, and it was because they just all started talking. We're authors and we're creative, and we start, oh, wouldn't it be interesting if there was a woman who could shoot lightning out of her eyes, and she meets a guy, and it happens, like the magic happens, okay? The other thing that you could do, and this has worked really well for some of us. So one of us had a project that we were stuck on, or we given up on. There were books that we were going to hand over to an agent or something, and it was like they're mostly written and they need some work to fit the market, but you've taken it as far as you can go, and you hand it over to someone who has fresh juice in them, and they rework the books. I'm actually looking at doing this with an old trilogy that was one of the first things I published. It's flawed writing. It's my first effort, and I unpublished it. But I handed it over to someone with no expectations. Like, I trust you. I love your writing. We've talked about collaborating. We've done collaboration on marketing efforts. We trust each other. She's actually been all up in my Facebook ad account. I mean, you got to trust someone to let them, near your credit card, right? So I'm happy to hand these books over, and she's going, maybe there's something I can do with these, right? And then we could co-write them together, publish them, run ads to them, and we'll see what we make. And I'm thinking it'll be fun. But at the same time, when I handed it over, I had no expectations. I was like, she's either gonna do something with this, or I'm never gonna hear from her again. And it turned out that it worked out, and we might do something with it. So play with it. That's my advice for getting started. So the rest of these slides are kind of old, but I'm going to go over them anyway. You got to know your writing style, and I'm going to say it up front. you might not be great at co-writing. You might need to collaborate with people in a different way. And the people you approach might not be suited to co-writing. Like you just, I don't know, you like your prose, and if anyone's gonna mess with it, you don't want that. No, so that's fine. Or you might want to find someone who is okay with you being the last word on the book, being like, okay, you edit it all because you're, controlling, or whatever. That's fine. We all of my co-writers and I have high standards for our prose, so I get it. Um, if you're uncomfortable with the idea of writing with someone, don't do it. Just do something else to collaborate with. There's different ways to do these things. Co-writing should be fun. It should be adding to whatever your career is, wherever your career is going in your creative process. And I'm saying this because I took R.L. Syme's Write Better Faster course, and she talks a lot about different creative styles and being okay with whatever style you are. And so if your personality is not you're not comfortable with this concept, don't worry about it. Collaborate in other ways, you'll be fine. I will say that if you want to launch into this, you got to work with someone who's writing your respect. That's number one. Read their books. And you have to have a trusting relationship, because ultimately someone's going to be pubbing on their account and then sending you money, or vice versa. So there has to be a solid level of trust. And yeah, you can get legal documents where you say you split 50% of the costs and 50% of the proceeds, blah, blah, blah. But you still have to trust that person. You don't want to get into, if you don't trust this person, do not get into a relationship where you're going to be handing over money, or vice versa, because you're going to end up in a legal situation and a fight. And that's just going to add to your headaches. Nothing is worth that. You want to keep your life drama free. And it would be better to make less money and not co-write than that. But if you trust these people, then you can put forth your best work and have them tweak it. Or if you want the last word, you get someone else to write, and then you get it handed over to you and you work on it. But they should be someone you enjoy talking with, someone you trust, so that the money situation is going to go the right way. And I will just say up front, I have read pretty much everything my co-writers have ever written. I love their books. I've promoted their books before we even knew what co-writing was. So I went into the relationship with this positive idea, and they, when someone likes your writing, you're flattered and you like them. and we would collaborate on other things. I had one co-writer, she was formatting all my books. And I was like, can I pay you somehow? And she's like, no, I'll do it for free. I was like, well, let me write you a scene. Like, if you didn't like writing that scene or whatever, I would write it for you. And I did, and I handed it over, and I was like, don't worry, just change anything you want. I was just trying to give you something. So it came from a very altruistic, we both were giving each other things, and no one was trying to get the better of each other in the situation. And we were able to form a relationship where we could co-write. And the other side of this is the marketing. I really believe that you have to have similar marketing styles. If one of you is in it to write esoteric poetry that no one's ever going to read, and the other person wants to hit top 100 on Amazon and spend 100 grand on ads in a year to promote a series, you guys aren't going to be a good fit. But if you both have mailing lists, for example, and you both are actively building a platform, and ideally, you both are going to be in the same writing, in this subgenre, that you already have readers for that subgenre. So you both write cozy mystery, you're going to collaborate on a cozy mystery, and your fans are going to love it. Like, your fans are going to buy it, their fans are going to buy it, everybody's winning out, because you've made this awesome new book that's right in your wheelhouse. So those are the two elements of a successful co-writing relationship, in my humble opinion. And again, here are some ideas on how to co-write. One can plot, one can write. You pass it back and forth. And especially if someone has a bigger platform, like if James Patterson said, hey, I'm going to hand you a plot, I'm really great at making plots, and I'm James Patterson, I'd be like, sure, I will do the writing. I will write as much as you want. You give me that plot, you stick your name on the book above mine, and we will split the profits. Hell yes. Right? So that's a fair co-writing relationship because I feel it's fair and he's willing to do it so he feels it's fair, right? So it doesn't matter how, who's doing most of the writing. If James Patterson feels like, the end result is going to be good and I'm like, yeah, I feel the same way, then we're on the same side, and it doesn't matter who's doing, you know, 50,000 of the words and then no editing. I'd probably just hand it over to him, right? This is my pipe dream. um, okay, the other way to do it is you could alternate chapters. I've heard of people, someone writes the hero, someone writes the heroine. If you're in a romance, that can work really well. Um, and then you're just doing passes to make sure it's cohesive. You could tag team chapters. You could write as much as you can and then hand it off. And that is one of the examples. One of my co-writers wrote an outline and wrote a chunk of 3 books. And then I took them and did a lot of rewriting because I changed the POV, but essentially the plot was strong, still there. I added some jokes. I like jokes. And, added a lot of voice and stuff like that. So that's how our series got started. Another co-writer loves to do the plot and the world building, and I like to brainstorm with her because it's fun. But she takes the lead, and it's her baby, and I get that, and I write the sex scenes, and then I'm making money off of books that I participated in. But to be perfectly honest, she does most of the heavy lifting, and therefore I had this great maternity leave where books were coming out that I had partially written, but really the heavy lifting is done by the co-writer. And it was a great maternity leave because I made tons of money, more money than I've ever made before in a year, from writing books and collaborating with this awesome person. So those are 2 different ways you can co-write. By example, here's a couple ideas on this page. But again, start with a tiny project, like something where no one's going to lose out on anything, and you're not going to be resentful of this other person if it turns out to be a waste of time. Like, do a little novella, do a scene, like just do something simple, and then see how it goes. Again, you gotta trust your partner, and you're gonna have to compromise at some point. One of my co-writers says things like, "Don't get precious." So we need to rearrange these words on the page to be the best possible reading experience for our fans. And so if we're going to cut your purple prose, kill your darlings, that sort of thing. I actually love that because I don't want to kill my darlings. I basically have outsourced the killing the darlings part. And if you don't know what that means, Google the phrase "kill your darlings" Stephen King, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. It's probably wise for you to be polite in your dealings with one another, because when people are polite, people are happy, but also very honest. And I'm asking people to be flexible, but if you have a line in the sand, be honest about your line in the sand. I mean, ultimately, we want the fans to have a good experience, and we want good quality work coming out. Because you can, as a reader, I've been turned off authors where one book kind of goes south. Sometimes it's a traditionally pubbed author, and I'm like, I wonder if they just used a ghostwriter for these 3 books, and it spoiled their brand. I don't know. I'm not knocking on ghostwriters at all. Co-writing is effectively a form of ghostwriting. Like, it's not all the book is written by you. You had a collaborator. And anyway, it's nice because, again, 1 + 1 = 10. So be flexible, play. You're making up stories with your best friend. It's supposed to be fun. I think that having fun is important because what we're doing is creative. And when we're having fun, I think the readers have fun. So here's some more. This is the serious bit. I split everything 50-50. So costs are split 50 and profits are split 50-50. And honestly, after the maternity leave, I had to have a conversation with some co-writers and be like, look, I didn't do as much work. So how can I make that up to you? And if we need to change the split, the payout, I get it. Let's do that. Or if we need it to be that I write most of the next book, whatever makes it fair, because it's in my best interest to keep the co-writing relationship going. But again, I trust my people, and nothing about them is shady. Because if it was, I would gracefully bow out. But these people are awesome, and I I'm coming at you with all this information. I have definitely had the best of the co-writing experiences, I think. So I'm just trying to put out there that it can go south. Um, but if you do it right, maybe you can just have a good experience and then bow out and do your own thing from now on. But you must be clear on your expectations, and it would be wise to consult a lawyer, especially, I don't know, especially if you feel more comfortable with a contract. Just do it. It'd be worth it. Again, I have co-written series that have made over six figures, so hiring a lawyer to do the contract in the initial part to get it going was worth it. But we did that after kind of, testing out the relationship with a tiny project. All right, your homework for co-writing is to go and invest in the author community, make those connections. You know, like on Facebook, you move from being just on Facebook into an author group, and then from the author group into chatting with a few authors. And then from there, you can let the story ideas develop and start small and see what happens. And that is it. That's all I got on co-writing. I hope this helps.